Hi there, friends and adventurers. Heather here from Heather's Hikes and Adventures. And for today's video, I am going to be sharing with you my top 22 of 22, meaning my 22 top favorite items that I've used the whole year of 2022. So, most of them I've purchased this year. Some of them I did purchase last year, but I have used them all this year. So this isn't necessarily the top 22 items that I've purchased this year. It's just my all-time favorite van life, car camping, solo traveler items that I have used the whole year. So without further ado, oh wait, I have a little more ado. Before I forget, because I know I'm going to forget later. I will have every item that I have a link for shared below in the description and pinned in the comments. So if there are any items that you're curious about and want more information on, you can check there. Also, there's a few videos where I've done specifics on some of the items that I'm going to be, like specific videos where I've done more information and covered more fully some of the items I will be sharing with you today. So those will be in the same place, description below, pinned in the comments, blah, blah, blah. Okay, enough ado. Now we're going to get into my list. So, if you are no stranger to the channel, it probably will not come as a shock to you that my 1, 2, and 3 items I'm going to share with you are all centered around coffee. I mean, some of them have other purposes, but let's face it, it's all about the coffee. Always all about the coffee. So my number 1 is one that I've actually recently shared with you guys. And honestly, I was gonna put my collapsible tea kettle, which I do have here, and I did use last night because I needed the extra water capacity that this comes with. So I'll go ahead and link that below too, because I mean, I do still love it. But this little baby I decided to share instead because I figured it would be kind of more useful to more people since it has a much lower draw, so you can use it with more power stations. It takes, 300 watts versus 700 watts, and it's still very efficient. It boils water in about 4 to 5 minutes, which I can vouch for. It took a little bit longer last night, but it was way colder than the other times I've used it, so just take that into account. The temperature of the water was much colder to start out with. But I love this thing. It's spill proof if you plug the little thingy. Ask me how I know that. Then of course you want to release it when it's time to charge, when it's time to heat. But it's very easy to clean. And you just plug in the little power cord here. Plug into your power station. Easy peasy. I really like it. Like I said, 300 watts versus 700 of my tea kettle, which is still, don't get me wrong, like I said, I still use my tea kettle, still love it. Not knocking the tea kettle, but that little personal single serving kettle is awesome. So, I promise I'm not going to blab about everything else this much, but I just wanted to mention a few things I don't think I've mentioned before. Okay, number 2 and 3, AeroPress milk frother. I've done a video on these, I think more than one actually. I've talked about them endlessly. I'm not going to continue to do so, but I love these things. I use them at home base. I use them on the road. All you need is hot water for this. Good to go. And you really only need a very little amount of hot water if you like iced coffee. But cup of hot water, best coffee ever. This thing, you can use for the powdered smoothies, protein shakes, matcha and other tea mixes, the like cup of soup mixes that always have the lumps, no lumps. So very useful. Although if you're going to make, cream of chicken soup, maybe make sure you clean it off really well before you froth your coffee and creamer. Okay. All right, so that was 1, 2, and 3. Moving on. All right, so number 4, I do not have with me, but that's because I love it so much that I actually brought it inside of home base because I'm planning on cooking burgers with it for my kids today or tomorrow. So, and myself, of course. They turned out so good on the griddle last time that I just decided it was more efficient and easier to clean to just use that this time. So I brought it inside and then forgot to put it back in my pantry when I was leaving. But that is my Dash Mini Griddle. I do have a video on that as well that I will link below, so check that out. But moving on to number 5, my Hot Logic Mini. Now, I have heard some feedback of people because it's one of the more popular items mentioned in some of my online forums and, groups of other solo travelers and other campers and stuff. Everybody loves this thing. Everybody recommends this thing. But I think, like myself, people get a little confused when it first comes because they're not expecting it to be this like little squishy fabric thing. I think they're expecting something more substantial, and it's only substantial when you put the container in. But otherwise, it's just basically a little insulated bag. So I've heard a couple of people online saying, oh, I just got this in and I can't believe everybody raves about it. It's just a piece of junk because, it's just like a little insulated bag of Reflectix. Like, who cares? But this little hot plate is what combines with it to make it magic. It does not get too hot, so you don't have to worry about leaving it unattended, about it burning, starting a fire. You can plug it in at camp, go for a hike, explore camp, come back to a hot meal. If you forget about it or you end up being gone longer than expected, you don't have to worry about it being overcooked, dried out, because it maintains that lower temperature. It's almost like a little mini crock pot, for lack of a better description. But it has a very low draw, so I can use it. You can buy it with the 12-volt option instead of the regular AC plug. But I prefer the AC plug because I can use it in any outlet this way, including my power stations and including my car because I have the little adapter, the inverter for the cup holder, which, oh crap, I gave away one of my things. Forget I mentioned that. I didn't mention it yet. Okay, my point is you can use it if you have an adapter still with the 12-volt. So I felt like this was more versatile. But if you get the 12-volt, you can still use that with a lot of things too. So anyways, that's a matter of preference. The point is this thing is awesome. I use it nonstop. I use it so much more than I thought I would. I, in the beginning, was like, who the heck wants to wait 2 hours for a meal when they decide to prepare one? But it's perfect. It's perfect for long drives. It's perfect if you work in an office setting and you want to plug it in when you get to the office and then by lunchtime have a hot meal. There's so many uses for it, and you can just take a frozen dinner straight from the grocery store, keep it in the cardboard box, don't do a thing to it, pop it straight in here, and it comes out perfect. Does it take longer than the microwave? Of course it does, but I think it turns out better, and it's no muss, no fuss. It's really versatile, so I cannot recommend this enough. It packs a big punch for a little inexpensive item. You can definitely get it for under $40 all the time, but they run sales. I got mine for $30. I've seen it as low as $25. Definitely pick yourself up one. They also have other brands, similar versions, but the concept of it is Yes. Okay. Enough of that. Those are my top 5. Let's move into the rest of the list. I'm going to start picking it up or else we're never going to get through these. You guys know I've mentioned these once or a million times before, but that's right. I'm going to mention them again because I live in Florida. These stretchy bug screens are a must have. All right, now that you saw my number 6, the mesh screens, which I think I have used every single camping trip I've been on, I'm pretty sure, maybe with the exception of 1 or 2. That brings me right into number 7. I do not have a specific link for this since it's detailed based on your year, make, and model of vehicle, but they are the custom fit WeatherTech insulated window coverings. They are 2-sided. Sorry about the noise. So you can use the silver side to reflect out, or the black side to maintain the stealth out and retain the heat or temperature inside, so, and absorb the heat outside. But you know, overnight, most people like to have the blackout, you know, for stealth purposes. They're invaluable, in my opinion, for the front and back, because I think those are the trickiest that people have the hardest time fitting, especially in minivans because of the way they tilt. But honestly, if you're not a DIYer by nature and you want to avoid stress and frustration where you can, I do think that they're a very valuable investment, and that's why I could not fail to mention those in my top 22 of 22. My number 8 item is going to be a combo of the Jackery 240 and the Jackery 1000. The Explorer original versions. I mentioned that because they do have the upgraded new version that just came out. I forget what it's called. If I remember, I'll put it below. But and that one charges much faster. I just have the original versions of both. Love both. I started out with the 240 because it was much more affordable, and honestly I wasn't sure what my personal power needs were going to be or what I was going to end up with. So once I settled on that, which I do plan to do a video on coming up in the future, so make sure that you're subscribed so that you don't miss that and that you have the notifications on. That way when I do get around to putting out that video all about power, figuring out what power station is right for you, kind of a basic general understanding of wattage and just kind of figuring out what your power needs are in general. I do plan to discuss all of that very soon, but for now I'm just going to mention that they are invaluable. A power station in general, but those two I can personally very highly recommend. They have served me very well, very pleased. I use them for my lighting, to charge my laptop, my camera batteries, my phone, my basically everything. I use it to run my kettles, you know, my Hot Logic, you know, I use it all the time off grid. When I am at a campsite, that's what I use. And then if I need to, I just charge the Jackery, normally just my 1000 with the shore power to top it back off. But that's what I use when I'm on the road. That's my source of power, regardless of where I am. And most importantly, my 1000 runs my fridge nonstop, 24/7. So without that, woo. But yeah, so highly recommends. Okay, number 9. Of course, no list would be complete without mentioning my Alpicool C20, my 22-liter fridge, I think. I love this thing. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I will never go back to a cooler again. Right, number 10. You guys know how I feel about my magnetic curtains. They're so easy to just pop on and off. I can slide it on out of the way when I don't want to use it. Comes in a set of 2. Cannot recommend enough. Okay, my friends, we are now at number 11 and 12, which I am grouping together since they are lighting related. This was one of my very first purchases. I still have it plugged in right now. That's why I've got the cord showing, going down there, because it's going into my Jackery. But this thing, I want to say, was $9.99, $8.99 maybe on sale. Just their USB plug-in light. They do have battery versions, rechargeable versions. This is just the standard USB version. If I had one thing for lighting that I had to choose and could not go without, it would be this thing. I use it every single trip, whether I'm stealth parking or at a campsite. I use this because it's so bright. Even if I don't want to deal with all of my mood lighting, I will use this because it's just very useful. It's just like a regular indoor turning on the light switch kind of a light. So I cannot recommend this enough. Even if you're going to use it as a backup lighting source and have other options you prefer, I would definitely recommend having this on hand because, one, the price, you cannot go wrong, and it's just literally the best thing ever. Okay, so now that brings me to 12. This little baby right here. I know you guys see it in all my videos. Sometimes I talk about it. I love it. That was also one of my early purchases. It's rechargeable. Technically, it has the bright setting, which would be useful if you were going to use it outside. It's an indoor-outdoor. I just love the little flicker flame setting. Okay, calm down there, baby. I know, I get excited about you too. But yeah, I love it. I just think it creates mood, ambiance. I plan on getting one to hang over here too, just because it does a fair amount of light, and if I want something a little more than the one, and not nearly as much as my USB light that we just talked about, that comes in clutch. So, love it. We'll link it below. There's a few similar versions, so if that one's out of stock, there will be a comparable one, but I'll link the one that I have since that's the one I can speak to. Okay, change of scenery. Let's hop outside to Future Heather real quick to show you 13, 14, and 15. Great, friends. We've got a 3-for-1 here. I have it set up in my backyard for right now. Please ignore all of the dead leaves that I have not swept up yet, as well as the weeds that need pulled. Thank you. But we are going to talk about this clam shelter, which gives you lovely bug-free shade at camp. I'll only use it if I'm going to be somewhere for more than 24 hours normally, but I also love my camp chair and camp table. This is super lightweight aluminum and it folds up super easily. It takes me 2 seconds. I can practically do it with one hand, and then it just slides in my trunk, as you've seen. This Coleman camp chair I love. It has a little insulated pouch here that you can put stuff in, like a little mini cooler almost. Cup holder. That also is super fast and easy to set up and take down. And I do have privacy panels for this that cover both sides and the back, so that it's almost like having a privacy tent as well, aside from the front. But I can't say enough good things about it. I got an amazing deal on Amazon. on the clam shelter, so it was too good of a deal to pass up. And like I said, the chair and table are so easy to set up anywhere and take 2 seconds and fold down, so small and compact that they take up no room at all. Okay, Present Heather back with you again and ready to talk about number 16 on my list of 22 top items of the year. Number 16 I have actually had for a few years now, but I made sure it was still being offered before I decided to mention it because I didn't want to talk about how awesome it was and then, not have anything similar available. And that's this baby. I love this thing. I use it like this in my lap, on the bed, on my 3-drawer storage, basically all over on my toilet. Not, while I'm using it as a toilet, but as a surface space when it's being an ottoman. And I also, as you've probably seen in other videos, love to have it just standing on the floor of my van inside to use to make like coffee in the morning or to prepare my dinner and stuff like that, because it just is the perfect counter space that I can kind of position exactly where I need it that day. So love this. I mean, obviously, I'm sure you can find other breakfast trays that are similar, but highly recommend. I've gotten so much use out of it. And also, I know I mentioned my bamboo cutting boards, which I have one up here right now. So that's a great option if you end up with just like a plastic or some other type material lap desk. You can always just put a bamboo cutting board down if you want that kind of easy to wipe up, easy to clean, no muss, no fuss of bamboo, and kind of the antimicrobial qualities that it has. So that was 16. Let's do 17. I know I said I was going to start talking less, but I think I'm just talking faster and just as much. Okay, 17. I had to get up for 17 because I was sitting on it. Yes, I could have just repositioned myself, but isn't this so much better? Okay, my yoga floor cushion. Love it. Use it all the time. It's basically where I'm sitting if I'm not up in my bed / couch. I just like being able to move it around. It's cushy enough. I've honestly found like the ottomans, the seating ottomans that I've used in the past are not as comfortable after a while. They start to kind of hurt my butt, but this is very comfortable. So highly recommend. It's ended up becoming one of my most used items. Okay, we are now at 18, and this is huge. Well, not literally, it's obviously very teeny tiny, as evident by your eyes. But what I mean is, it's essential for peace of mind, in my opinion, especially if you travel solo or hike solo. Basically, if you're by yourself, and definitely if you're by yourself in remote locations that do not have reliable cell service, you will want something like this, if not this one. The Garmin InReach Mini, I just did a recent video on, so I will be sure to include that below, is an emergency satellite device. I can use it, the SOS function, if I get into a pickle, which thankfully I have not had to use. I hope I never have to use that function, but knowing that I can, say I sprain an ankle in the middle of nowhere while I'm out hiking and there is nobody else coming along, I can't hike back to my vehicle, I don't have reliable cell service to call somebody, and I'm just stuck out in the middle of the woods, I can call for help if I need to. So you do need a subscription service, so it does cost money consistently. But in my opinion, it's just like insurance. It is insurance. It can save your life. So in my opinion, it's essential. It's worth the little bit of investment in your safety. And if you're using it to text, you can use it right from your phone, which is how I use it, to check in and just let my parents know I've made it to camp, that everything's okay. It also sends a map to that person if you have that feature turned on, so that they have your coordinates and can see where you are, so that you don't have to like try to figure out, okay, this is where I am. You can just say, hey, got to camp okay, and they can see where you are. So it's just, I mean, such a great tool and so handy. Like I said, I did a demonstration and a video on it, so go over there and watch that after this if you want more info on it. For now, let's talk about 19. We're almost there, guys, home stretch. And actually, we're going to do a combo. So let's do 19, 20, 21, and 22. Okay, now that we're into the final 4, before I head up front to give you a better view of those 3 items, let's talk about 19, my car trash can. And as you can see, it's real easy. When I want to be able to reach it from the driver's seat, I can just hook it up there. Otherwise, I have it adjusted so that I can just kind of keep it out of the way. That way I can still easily access the toilet and use all of that surface space if I need to, and just kind of adjust it. But you can tighten it and put it wherever it works best for you in your specific rig. I like that it has these extra little pouches for storage. I use it for all of my non-stinky trash, like receipts, napkins, things like that. And then I'll use a disposable bag usually for any kind of foods waste that I'm going to want to throw away immediately. But aside from that, I have loved having this when I am not on a camping trip or traveling or on the road in general. I will still keep it attached via the armrest up here, so that I can easily still throw stuff away, or behind even the headrest so that it just kind of sits against the back of the seat when this isn't in here. But I just love having it. It helps keep me organized. I don't end up with wads of paper all over the inside of my vehicle. So it's just really useful. All right, let's head up front so you can see the last 3 a little better. We're all the way up to number 20. My new-ish side organizers. They're not the tightest fit, but they're very handy, out of the way, and they take up no extra room at all. And they're handy for storing all kinds of things. I know you guys are getting excited that we're getting to the end of this list. All right, number 21, I'm going to talk about it again. My cup holder inverter that you have not heard me mention at all before in this video. Seriously though, this thing is awesome. It just plugs right into my 12 volts, and then I can use 1 AC, 2 USBs, and 2 12 volts, so it's perfect. And it is sitting in my cup holder seat divider that you guys know I cannot get enough of. I almost always have this in one of them. And then this is a great, this is a great catch-all. Chapstick, remote, memory card, etc. I've got Christmas glitter everywhere. And then I've got my lens in the other one, but I mean, they're awesome for extra storage, don't take up any extra real estate, and act as a seat gap filler so that nothing falls down there. All right, there you have it, folks. We're back inside the living space of Tara again. I have walked you through all 22 of my top 22 of 22. Can I say 22 one more time? I'm gonna, because after this, let's face it, we want to put this year behind us and move on to 23. But if you're like me and you are a procrastinator, or have just had life get in the way, have been so busy that you lost track of the calendar, all of the above, and you still need good gift-giving guides for ideas for people, I would suggest you look to this list because, like I said, a lot of them are multi-purpose items that people can use in multiple settings for multiple scenarios. Most of them are very affordable, inexpensive items that have a lot of use, so you get a lot of bang for your buck. And I just cannot tell you how much value I've gained from them and how much I've used them, and I cannot recommend them enough. So most of the time I stress the fact that I only recommend items that I would recommend with or without being an Amazon associate. But I do want to let you know, since this list is predominantly all Amazon items, that as an associate, I do earn a small commission on qualifying purchases. A very, 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 very small commission. But every little bit helps fund those adventures. And it is a great way that you can support the channel if you want to help me fund future content. So I will, like I said, include all of the links for all of the items that we discussed below today and pinned in the comments. So jump over there if you are looking for more info or just looking to support me, Tara, Smokey. There you are, Smokey. And the channel. I so appreciate it. Although just watching this video, giving it a thumbs up, commenting, sharing, all of that helps me and is so appreciated. And I just cannot tell you how much your support means to me as we are wrapping up 2022. There, I told you I was going to say it again. As we are wrapping up this year, I cannot stress to you the amount of challenges I've had. As you know, I've struggled with both my mental and my physical health this year and continue to do so on a serious note. But your support has meant the world to me through all of this, and it's really been a great creative outlet, just a good source of focus that I've really needed this year. So I just wanted to take a little moment to mention that. I know I thank you guys in every video, but I just cannot stress to you how much your support and community, this sense of community that this has, it's just meant a lot to me. So I want to continue to build this community. With that being said, if you're not already subscribed, maybe consider doing so and joining my awesome community of subscribers. And I'm going to shut up now. I want to wish you guys a very happy rest of the year, a very fruitful, productive, positive next year, and maybe consider looking at some of these items to carry you into that next year, and you might find that they have become as essential and awesome to you as they are to me. That's enough. I'm done. I will see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye.